Hey guys, my name's Julian.
Hey, my name's Ash.
And we're here today because we're starting a new podcast.
It aims to bring up topics that aren't too heard about in the media or heard about often. What we aim to do is reach out to the youths and the young adults of Australia. And we want to try and give them a different perspective of the decisions they're making and how that can impact themselves, their family and the community. Now, before we get fully in depth into that, I want to briefly introduce myself. My name's Ashley Dybel. When I was younger, I was hanging around the wrong people, making wrong decisions. Also, when I was 21, I competed for Australia in the IPF, which is the International Powerlifting Federation. I competed in New Zealand in the Commonwealth and Oceania Powerlifting Games and took gold in my weight division for bench press. When I returned home, I was still hanging out with the wrong people. I was using party drugs at the time, mainly cocaine. I thought it was cool, I thought it was fun, and I knew right from wrong, but I didn't care for the consequences. I was young and I was stupid. In 2015, I headed over to Syria. I joined up with the YPG, the Kurdish militia, and fought against ISIS. I wasn't happy with myself and the decisions I made, and I really wanted to make a difference in the world, and that was something that really touched my heart about what was going over there and the atrocities that were going over there, and I thought that's where I needed to be. Upon returning home, I didn't really have a direction. I didn't really know where I was going, but I went back to work. I started my own business, but I was still continuing to hang out with the wrong people, and I was still using cocaine. Hanging around the wrong people and making those silly decisions eventually led to me being charged for a murder I didn't commit, interference with a corpse, and possession of cocaine. I was eventually acquitted of the murder. In 2020, I was found guilty of misconduct of a corpse through interference and possession of cocaine. I was sentenced to 3 years to be served concurrently, and I was released immediately due to serving 3.5 years in jail. During my time in jail, I wanted to make sure that when I was released that I would have the tools and knowledge to be a better person, to make better decisions when I get out. So while I was in jail, I made sure the person I want to be on the outside was the person I was while I was inside. I finished my school, I studied hard, and I read a lot of books just to give myself that direction for when I was released. I'll end up going up to that into a more in-depth at a later date. But basically what we're aiming to do is for all these youths out there, like you see the youths on the news, the stabbings, the carjackings, all that stupid shit that you see these kids doing, I want them to know that that lifestyle is not all it cracks up to be. Those decisions could end up in jail, could end you up in jail, charged with murder or all sorts of different things for those silly decisions. It only takes one small mistake to ruin your entire life. Right? Just one mistake. And it can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone. This podcast doesn't aim to be one of those ones, don't do drugs, drugs is bad. It's not here to glorify crime. It's here to talk about people's different experiences and what led to that and how they've tried to turn their life around. If you want to do drugs, that's entirely your decision. But we want you to know the ramifications of your actions and how it can impact your life, impact your family's life, impact the community's life. Like, you see all these documentaries, you see all this, but they don't go into the nitty-gritty details. We're not here going into showing you about all the gore, all the glam and that. We're here to talk to you about this is what it led to, this is what happened, and this is what I did. And this is how I turned my life around. And I really hope we can reach out to at least just one person and change their perspective.
So, like Ashley, when I was younger, I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing silly things. Luckily, as I got a bit older, I steered clear of that and I headed in a more positive direction with myself. But if we can help even just one person head in a more positive direction in their life, I think it'll be worth it. So that's why I'm on board, and that's what we're here to do with this podcast.